KIMT News 3. Iowa, Minnesota, together. This is KIMT News 3 at 6.
A person of interest has been named in a Minnesota cold case. 1 week ago today marked 26 years since the disappearance of Jacob Wetterling. Wetterling was 11 years old when he was abducted near his home in central Minnesota in the community of St. Joseph.
Today, authorities are announcing there's a new person of interest in the case, 52-year-old Daniel Heinrich of Annandale. Heinrich was previously questioned and gave a DNA sample in 1990, but he was never charged. But investigators say that DNA sample has now linked Heinrich to a sexual assault of a 12-year-old boy in nearby Cold Spring. That happened just 9 months before Wetterling disappeared. Heinrich is in custody on possession of child pornography and is currently denying any involvement in the Wetterling disappearance.
Investigators also discovered dozens of VHS tapes of young boys engaged in routine activities like delivering newspapers, playing on the playgrounds, and riding bicycles. The videos appear to have been filmed by the defendant, and some of them appear to have been shot from a hidden camera.
A preliminary hearing for Heinrich is set for next Wednesday at 10 a.m.
A fire broke out in Mason City this morning just before 7 a.m. Crews arrived at the home on 7th Street Northeast to find a futon on fire. They put down the flames, got the smoke out. Nobody was hurt in the fire, and there was no damage to the buildings. Officials say smoking material was the cause. Well, taking a break now to look at our local weather forecast. If you're tired of the cold already, hold on.
Oh,
Don't have to wait too long.
Yeah, this is short-lived, I guess. Let's find out more. Adam Frederick is in the Storm Team 3 Forecast Center, and it has been very chilly the last couple of days.
It really has. Today, the clouds, the breeze, it certainly was not a warm one by any means, but the good news is warmer weather for tomorrow and much warmer weather before the weekend is out. Let's take a look and see what's happening on our live eye in the sky in Mason City. We have mostly cloudy skies across North Iowa and southern Minnesota, and it looks like that's the way things are going to be staying here at least for a little while longer before more sunshine returns. As far as the temperatures, though, again, those haven't exactly been too high. Right now, 41 degrees is the current temperature northward of Northwood Kansas School. Northwest winds has died down a little bit, down to about 6 miles per hour. And across the region, we can expect to see those temperatures still hovering into the mid to lower 40s by 7 o'clock tonight. More lower 40s across the region. Still hovering into the lower to mid 40s. Not exactly a whole lot of variation really from the hour to hour. You can see with the cloud cover, temperatures aren't going to be dropping off too quickly. They won't be dropping off too far for tonight either, but we will be seeing those temperatures back into the mid to upper 60s. Lots of sunshine. I'll show you a wind coming up in a few moments.
All right, thanks, Adam. 2 armed suspects police say robbed a home in Rochester last night are still on the run. It happened just before midnight in the 1700 block of 1st Avenue Southeast. KIMT News 3's Dee Dee Steepen tells us if police believe there are any public safety concerns.
Right now, they do not. Now, despite this being a violent crime that sent 1 victim to the hospital, right now, police do not believe this was a random attack. They say 2 suspects armed with handguns entered a home and demanded cash, among other items. During the robbery, 2 victims were pistol whipped. The victims also told police the suspects were concealing their faces with Halloween-style masks.
Obviously, Halloween masks are readily available this time of year, but you know, any type of method to disguise somebody's face we commonly see in robbery type incidents, and given the time of year, it's 'tis the season for that type of concealment.
Police did release a description of one of the suspects. They're looking for a white male with blonde hair in his mid to late 20s with a medium build and facial hair. Anyone with any information is asked to contact police. In Rochester, Dee Dee Steepen, KIMT News 3.
Police say that they are familiar with the address that was targeted in regards to activity, but wouldn't say much more. The investigation is ongoing. It's a growing problem in our area. There are more jobs than people to fill them. So many leaders are meeting to find a solution to the labor shortage. KIMT News 3's Jaron Rennie has more from Albert Lee.
Now hiring signs are a commonplace here in Albert Lee and other area communities. The problem is, it's been that way for a while. Southeast Minnesota Together is hosting a workshop in Albert Lee. The group works to find solutions for the workforce shortage by collaborating with business owners, education leaders, government officials, and more. Another key issue is popping up. They expect the workforce to grow by only 8 people per county over the next few years.
We have to find out some new and creative ways to, develop that workforce and retain that workforce and attract that workforce to this area.
He says there are currently 43,000 open jobs in southeast Minnesota alone. In Albert Lee, Jaron Rennie, KIMT News 3.
If you would like more information on this workshop, go to KIMT.com and click on local news.
STEM is something we hear about typically in the context of education, science, technology, engineering, and math. But it goes far beyond that for some area schools, announcing a partnership today to show how STEM relates to their real-world careers. KIMT News 3's Levi Ismail shows us how the schools are being rewarded for their efforts.
They've seen what programs like this can do for other schools all across Iowa. And now the Charles City School District is teaming up with Osage, New Hampton, and RRMR to help motivate students to pursue STEM careers. Separately, these 4 school districts have made great strides in exposing students to STEM careers. Now they're joining forces as part of the STEM Best Grant, which is awarding them with more than $25,000 in funding. The money will go toward creating even more opportunities for students to explore the careers best suited for their STEM skills. Students then will participate in community projects with businesses more than willing to motivate the next generation of industry professionals.
We want all of our graduates to have opportunities to stay and work right here in North Iowa, and this will allow us to partner, give high school students apprenticeships, give students the hands-on opportunities to explore jobs they maybe didn't even know existed.
In addition to the STEM Best Grant, more than $40,000 has been pledged from businesses just like here at Mitas Tires to help with job shadowing opportunities and simply helping to engage students with the STEM careers now available in our area. In Charles City, Levi Ismail, KIMT News 3.
Similar programs have been established in Cedar Rapids, Waukee, and suburban Kansas City. A new company is being welcomed to the area, and just in time with the winter months very close by. The Growmark Propane Terminal is located in between Mason City and Clear Lake. Rail cars will bring in propane to be housed until it's distributed to retailers who then use it to heat local homes and businesses. The vice president of Growmark says he's excited to start this in North Iowa.
This is a great opportunity for us to show our commitment to the customers in northern Iowa about how we want to bring propane into this market successfully.
And he says this is Growmark's 3rd propane terminal location. The others are in Ohio and South Dakota.
He was told he'd never walk again. A man is recovering from an accident that almost left him paralyzed. But with the help of technology, he's hoping to beat the odds. KIMT News 3's Emily Boster has the story.
Every day I look at it as a new blessing. I can remember telling them, that everything that was wrong. I couldn't feel my legs, I was bleeding into my chest cavity and that. I can remember looking up at my 2 son-in-laws and telling them that I was dying. And it was the most peaceful, surreal feeling I've ever had in my life.
Matt Ross is thankful to be alive. On April 26th of last year, he was crushed by a backhoe twice. He died and was resuscitated 3 times while in surgery for 7 hours. But he was determined to live. And that determination pulled him through.
When I was at the hospital in Iowa City, that's when they told me that I would probably never walk again.
Ross wasn't going to let that happen. Being a veteran, he was transported to the VA hospital in Minneapolis. There he came across the therapists and technology that would change his life.
The machine kept telling me I had to lean backwards, and I kept telling myself I'm going to tip over, and it's like, no, you're not. The machine knows where your balance point is. And after 4 days of being in that machine, my brain reprogrammed and told me where my balance was, and I started walking straight up.
He used what's called an exoskeleton. It's made by Exobionics, meant for paraplegics. He was the first at the Minneapolis VA hospital to try it. What happened next surprised everyone, including those at Floyd County Medical Center.
Once you meet Matt and you learn how dedicated he is and how hard a worker he is, it's been a lot of fun.
Determination. I've always been the type of person, don't tell me I can't do something, I'll do it just to prove you wrong.
In Charles City, Emily Boster, KIMT News 3.
Ross is looking to make an 80% recovery. Coming up after the break, the profession of a police officer is often scrutinized, especially recently.
We'll have a look at what goes on in the day-to-day duties of local officers and how some southern Minnesota cities are hoping to make changes to better the lives of their residents. That's coming up.
And coming up tonight after the game, a vigil is being held in southern Minnesota to raise awareness for domestic violence. Plus, decorative contact lenses for Halloween may be dangerous. More on that after the game.
You are watching KIMT News 3 at 6. Iowa, Minnesota together.
Members of law enforcement have been coming under scrutiny quite a bit in the last year, but despite the negative portrayal from some, officers do tell us they feel a lot of support still. Coming up tonight in a special report, we'll take you on a day in the life of an officer, from the difficulties they deal with every day to what they're doing to keep the community support.
Cops right now are being spotlight, and the big thing is there's bad cops out there. Well, of course there's bad cops out there. There's bad attorneys, there's bad convenience store workers, there's bad mechanics, you know. It's just right now that's not making the news.
A full story on that coming up tonight after Thursday night football.
The Senate Bonding Committee toured potential projects in Rochester this week, and today they're looking at proposals in 2 more southern Minnesota areas. KIMT News 3's Hannah Funk joins us in our Albert Lee newsroom with more on these proposals.
Thanks, Amy. City leaders in both Austin and Albert Lee are looking to increase the quality of living for their residents, but they will need the Senate Bonding Committee's approval first.
For every 4 projects that we look at, only 1 gets funded.
Albert Lee and Austin are both hoping to receive more than $3 million in funding from the Senate Bonding Committee. These funds will help attract more tourists for both cities. In Austin, they're proposing the development of a recreational area near Ramsey Mill, Moore County's largest body of water.
We want to help address water quality and the recreational amenities in our community that attach Austin to the broader regional significance of trail access and state water trail use.
And Albert Lee leaders are proposing the Blazing Star Landing site.
We're looking at some private development along our lakeshore, along with building a community center. And one of the things that we plan on doing in terms of timing is doing it in phases.
Leaders from both towns are confident their projects will be approved for funding.
You know, in the past we've had a pretty good success rate, obviously bringing dollars home not only for Austin but for Albert Lee, the Fountain Lake example most recently. And so I think that we've proven that we're good stewards of these dollars, and I think that's important too to the committee because it is a very competitive process.
Sparks also believes that supporting these projects is a positive thing. He said it is important to bring bonding dollars back home. Amy?
City officials say they won't know if lawmakers approve the bonding proposal until the 2016 legislative session.
We are going to be seeing some cloudy conditions across the region for now, but warmer weather is going to be returning. I'll show you when in your full Storm 3 forecast. It was definitely a bit of a chilly day and a bit of a breezy day at times. Peak wind in Rockwell about 34 miles per hour. Winds died down a little bit more to about 8 miles per hour out of the west right now with a 43-degree temperature outside. Let's take a look and see what's happening right now on our live eye in the sky. Taking a look at Clear Lake, taking a look over towards downtown Clear Lake. Cloudy day, and just the sun is setting so much earlier and earlier, and obviously this weekend with the time change as we do the fall back by this time next week, we're probably not even going to really have much of a sight on our Clear Lake live eye because it's going to be so dark across the region. Now, as far as today, we had a few rain showers making their way through North Iowa, southern Minnesota. Most places registered just a trace, maybe a few little bits of some frozen precipitation in there reported as well. Maybe a few flakes of snow or a little bit of some sleet, but temperatures today made their way into the mid to upper 40s. Overnight lows were generally into the mid-30s. Now, we will be seeing the overnight low temperatures similar for tonight, but they will be, daytime highs will be improving for tomorrow. And right now, the temperatures are hovering into the mid-40s, so fairly comfortable if you think about what would be in January, but not exactly the most comfortable weather for October, but more comfortable weather will be returning in the form of 50s, even some mid to upper 60s. But you got to be patient. We'll take a little bit of some time, wait for it. It will be returning next week, but right now, we're going to be dealing with those 40s still for tonight, even some of those mid-30s returning. Satellite radar across our Midwest shows the mostly cloudy skies continuing across the majority of our viewing area and the upper Midwest. Now, what's happening is we still have a little bit of a low pressure off to our north, wrapping us to that colder air, a little bit of a trough sliding by, helping to provide enough lift to keep some of the clouds in the region, but eventually we'll clear things out for a little while for tomorrow. Looking ahead at that skycast, most cloudy skies continuing for tonight. That trough's going to be exiting the region, still keeping the clouds around to begin the day, but towards the noon hour, we should be able to clear things out for a little while. They'll end up seeing a few more clouds passing by tomorrow evening as we have another trough of low pressure, an upper level trough this time slide by. Another low pressure to the south, helping to bring a little bit of moisture farther to the north, and we'll be seeing a few showers possible overnight Friday into Saturday. Overnight details from the forecast. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Temperatures in the mid-30s, with becoming southwesterly, coming to 4 miles per hour. Then tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds. Highs will be in the lower 50s. Southerly winds about 6 to 12 miles per hour. And tomorrow night, scattered showers. Temperatures lower to mid-40s. We'll end up seeing southerly winds 4 to 9 miles per hour. Looking at what's going to be happening over the next 7 days in that 7-day weather forecast, you can expect to see those temperatures hovering into the mid-50s for Saturday, Halloween. And we will be seeing for trick-or-treating on Halloween night. Temperatures not necessarily too bad in the lower 50s, few upper 40s, but the showers should be over with early in the day on Saturday. Then lots of sunshine for Sunday and Monday, Tuesday. Temperatures getting back in the upper 60s before we end up seeing a few changes as we head later next week, back to right around 60 degrees. But 60 degrees versus mid-40s certainly looks a lot better across the region, and overall fairly sunny and decent forecast.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have that warm up.
It will be.
Thank you, Adam. AJ's joining us now. It definitely felt like playoff football last night. You were out in it.
Yeah.
And 3 local teams fought through the cold, even the snow, and got a spot in the second round.
12 Iowa teams qualified for the playoffs. 9 of them saw their seasons come to a close last night. So now our focus is on the second round. New pairings came out after our newscast last night. So we'll take a look ahead to some Monday night showdowns next in sports. Drew Clevenger will never admit it, but his St. Ansgar football team played pretty close to a perfect game last night in their playoff opening win, 26-zip blanking of a really good Jessup ball club. STA won the turnover battle and took advantage of a lot of opportunities. Of course, that's highlighted by a powerful ground attack. 4 different Saints averaged at least 5 yards a carry. 3 guys ran for a touchdown, and Ben Bergeron continues to get better. 2 key interceptions really well under center and offense as well. St. Ansgar will be at home in round 2 for a matchup with Southwind. The Warriors 8-2 this season, only losing to Waukon and Dyke New Hartford. The Garrigan football team unbeaten. They're ranked #1, and they're moving to round 2 after an impressive win thanks to a fast start against AGWSR last night. Garrigan scored 22 in the first quarter on their way to a 36-7 victory. 2 Golden Bears, Gibson Bear and Cameron Langerman, ran for 100 yards. The defense pretty solid as well, holding AGWSR just shy of 175 yards total offense. Marley Wadley's team at home for round 2, taking on a Grundy Center team that beat West Hancock last night. Our third area team moving to the second round, Hampton-Dumont Bulldogs at a Class 2A. Despite giving up an early touchdown, the Dogs really took the bark out of North Polk last night on their way to a 26-7 victory. HD called 66 running plays last night, 33 carries and 167 yards from that guy, their workhorse, Johnny Guerrero. Unlike STA and Garrigan, Hampton-Dumont on the road for round 2, taking on the reigning Class 2A state champs, North Fayette Valley, the Tiger Hawks and Bulldogs, both 8-2 this season. The focus was football last night. Tonight, a bunch of area volleyball teams on the floor in Iowa and Minnesota for another round of the postseason. Charles City coming off a first-round bye in Class 4A. They will host Ballard, a team that beat Mason City in 4 sets this week. CC finished their regular season 29-10. They won 6 of their final 7 matches. The Bombers come into tonight's game 7-19 this year. A lot of great volleyball coming your way tonight. We also have coverage from the games in Forest City and Osage, both in Class 3A, and in Minnesota. Cass and Manorville at home in the first round of Section 1-2A. Same thing for Hayfield against Blooming Prairie in Section 1A. Full coverage after football tonight. At Mason City and then at Nyack, Courtney Rush was always successful. She played at state with the Mohawks. She played at the national tournament with the Trojans. At both stops, Crush was healthy most of the time. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case in her first season with Drake last year. Courtney started her second game with the Bulldogs, but broke her foot in the Iowa game, never really getting back to 100%. Now back for her junior season, Crush is healthy and says she learned a pretty good lesson last year.
When it comes to your body, you gotta feel everything, and break my foot, I kind of saw I understood what my body's saying to me, so I gotta take care of that. And I kind of help tell the teammates that too, if something's wrong, you gotta say it right away.
Due to playoff football last night, we didn't have a ton of time to talk about the T-Wolves and their big win in L.A. Minnesota beat the Lakers in their 2015 opener, 112-111, led by a career-high 28 points from Ricky Rubio to go along with 14 assists. Karl Anthony Towns, playing in his first ever NBA game. He was the top overall pick, tallied a double-double, 14 points and 12 boards. Minnesota at Denver tomorrow night. I'm saying goodbye. Charles City Volleyball starts at 7. It's 6:24. I'm going to drive the speed limit all the way there and be there by about 7:04.
Another busy night.
Busy night of highlights after football tonight.
Thanks, AJ. We'll see you when you get back. And we'll see you after this. We really felt the wind and the chill today.
That's right. It certainly felt like a fall day out there, even though today was a little bit colder than we would normally expect. We are going to be seeing warmer weather back in the region, so if you're worried about, getting rid of some of that no jacket weather, we probably are going to be seeing some of that next week. Temperatures back into the mid to upper 60s. Lots of sunshine. I know a lot of kids watching Halloween. Maybe a little on the cool side, but it should be dry by Saturday night.
All right. Good news. Thanks for joining us.